Good afternoon. My name is Jane Alimano and this is my colleague Rolf Donald. And your names are?
Alisa.
Alisa and?
Benjamin.
Benjamin. Okay, thank you. Can I have your mark sheets, please? Thank you. So first of all, we'd like to know something about you. So where are you from, Alisa?
I'm from Latvia, which is an ex-Soviet republic at the moment.
And Benjamin?
I'm from Macau, which is located in the south coast of China.
And what do you do, Benjamin?
I'm a student here. I've been here for 5 years. Well, my parents decided to come here because they think that there will be a better education here.
Thank you, thank you. And what sort of English course are you following, Alisa?
I'm just doing my AS levels at the moment, no specific course. And at the end of probably at the end of the school year, I'm going to do my AS exams.
Thank you. And is there any particular person who has helped you learn English?
My English teacher back in Latvia, she was the head of English at a university, and she was really good. And then when I came to England, it was just teachers of all the subjects that I did.
And Benjamin, could you tell us something about the kind of things you read for pleasure?
Well, I'm really interested in geography, so every month I read the National Geographic here. As a matter of fact, do AS geography here because I think geography is very useful in everyday life.
Thank you. Now we'd like to ask you what you think about one or two things. Thinking about yourself, how competitive a person are you, Alisa?
Quite competitive to a certain extent. If I know that for example, if we're in a match or something and I know if we can do it, I'll be like, yeah, come on, let's do it. I know we can. But if I know there is no way that we can achieve the goal, I'll just give in.
And Benjamin, how would you feel about living in an English-speaking country permanently?
Well, for me at the start it was very hard because my English is very limited. But as time goes on and you learn more about how English people speak and what they do generally, you kind of get used to it. And well, I think I'm coping quite well here.
Thank you. Now, in this part of the test, you're going to do something together. Here are some pictures which show different aspects of togetherness. First, I'd like you to look at pictures A and F and talk together about what the people might be thinking. You have about a minute for this, so don't worry if I interrupt you.
Should we start?
Do you want to go first or shall I?
You start.
Okay, well, if we look at picture F, I think those two are relatives of maybe...
Looks like a daughter and a
yeah.
father or something.
Yeah, actually, yeah, daughter and father, and they are having a very... they're enjoying a nice conversation, and I think
they look quite happy with each other. They look quite smiley and just like they're having fun, or probably they said a joke or something.
Yeah, I think they get along very well.
Yeah, it looks like it, that they've got a good relationship between each other. Yeah. And then if we look at A, I think it's a photo of a police officer or something like that.
I think it's like they taking a group photograph, like
probably.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now look at all the pictures. I'd like you to imagine that an article on togetherness is being written for a college magazine. Talk together about how these people benefit from being together, and then decide which two aspects of togetherness will appeal most to readers. You have about 3 minutes to talk about this.
Well, if we look at picture B, it looks like two people walking down, like, for example,
backpacking somewhere or something.
Yeah, they might be traveling, like to a foreign country or something,
Yeah.
they might be I think they're trying to rely on themselves rather than other people.
I
in a
think it's
way,
quite
yeah.
important that they're together. It's quite important when you go travelling
Yeah,
with your friend. It might even bring you closer.
yeah. It's very nice to have a
Travel.
friend when you're traveling. It was like
Yeah.
you can help out each other.
And C,
Yeah.
I think it's a really big family, and there's a mother and a father and kids. And I think togetherness in a family is really important as well,
Yeah.
which I think might appeal to the readers as well.
In D, you can see there's a lot of people working in office.
Yeah.
I
I think togetherness
think
in an office, it's very important that you get along with your colleagues.
yeah, and
and
teamwork is essential.
yeah, so the
for work.
atmosphere, the working place is good.
Yeah, it's very important that they get
E
along.
looks like a concert of some kind as well, or might not be a concert, might be a
Actually, I'm not very sure what
manifestation or something like that.
it might be.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's very important when people get together as well and express their opinions.
Yeah,
So,
I
for
think-
example,
yeah.
a manifestation in front of the government. So the government also knows how the majority of the population feel about certain aspects.
yeah.
I think for the readers, if we consider this as a whole, what would you say the two
think-
most important pictures?
Well,
would
I personally think that B is one of the most
be? Important.
important picture because it gives the reader a very strong feeling of togetherness.
I think C and F is actually more important because here you see the daughter talking to her older father.
Okay.
So I think that would appeal to both generations, the younger generation and the older generation,
Okay.
for the readers. And C, because it's a family, I think everyone has a family.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few people who live alone, who don't have any relatives, any friends or anything
Yes.
like that. So I think those two pictures, I would go for them. What would you think?
Well, actually, I agree with you more or less, but on the whole, I think apart from C and F, I think B or maybe D is also very important.
D, I
Yeah.
agree, D might be as well.
Because it's giving the impression of teamwork and togetherness.
Yeah, which is important.
Yeah,
as well.
which is like even if they're not relatives or.
But then
living
D,
together.
that would
Yeah.
be more for grown-ups, whilst again C would be for all ages.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, I
It
agree
depends.
with you.
It depends who the readers are, whether they're the young generation or
Yeah.
mostly the older generation.
Yeah, C and F can both tell the
It
older
covers
people.
both.
Yeah,
Yeah, it covers all ages.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, in this part of the test, you're each going to talk on your own for about 2 minutes. You need to listen while your partner is speaking because you'll be asked a comment afterwards. So, Elisa, I'm going to give you a card with a question written on it, and I'd like you to tell us what you think. There are also some ideas on the card for you to use if you like. All right? Here is your card and a copy for you, Benjamin.
Thank you.
Remember, Elisa, you have about 2 minutes to talk before we join in.
Okay. What use is art to society? I think art is quite important to society. First of all, because it brings enjoyment to people. It's a sort of entertainment. You can go to an art gallery and look at the pictures and enjoy the beautiful portraits of people, the beautiful landscapes, which you might never see in real life. Say a landscape of 19th century Norway, which now it's completely changed. It's industrialized, the deforestation, all these aspects, and you can see how it was like that, how beautiful it was. It helps education as well, in various ways. Again, how we pollute our planet, but also how to draw what is art. Also, might teach you to think in different ways. There's the everlasting question, what is art? Some people say this is art, some people say that. I think it makes you think more diversely and widely as well, and consider different things. Decoration. Art can be a form of decoration as well, in a flat or in a house. Also, say it's a boring house and then you put a pretty picture, then it kind of decorates the house and makes it more alive, and it attracts your attention, and you just think, oh, this is a nice house. Why not sit there and look at the picture? I think without art, life would be more boring and just more dull. I think we wouldn't know a lot. We wouldn't know about famous painters like Picasso or I don't know, Michelangelo or something like that. So also without art, like there are different fresques, say in Russian churches. They're beautiful. There's gold and fresques, and you just come and you enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you. Benjamin, is there anything you would like to add?
Well, I more or less agree with her, and I just like to emphasize the point that arts can can draw people's attention to one particular person's emotions or what they feel about certain aspects that they cannot express simply in words. I think that's one of the major beauty of art. It's like a language in a way. It's communicating to other people, and different people will see this message differently. I think that's very important.
Thank you. Which of the arts do you find most appealing?
Yeah, what do you think?
Classical art, I think.
Well, I think well, there's like different point of watching like viewing arts. If there's like modern art,
it depends what you're looking for as well. Like I look for beauty, that's why I prefer classical art with beautiful women and men. Whilst some people might prefer modern things.
I personally feel that modern art is, as I give you ideas. It's like give you ideas and gives you, as I allows you to think issues in a different point of view, which is I think is quite important as well.
I don't see modern art as art. I think it's just a bunch of squiggles. I go for the old classical things.
I personally don't want to argue with her here, but although I disagree with her, I see where she's coming from, and
I think it's easier to create modern art than classical art. It took painters before, it took years, and now some famous painters do it in a day.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, Benjamin, it's your turn to be given a question. Here is your card and a copy for you, Elisa.
Thank you.
Remember, Benjamin, you have about 2 minutes to tell us what you think, and there are some ideas on the card for you to use if you like. All right?
Okay. Why do people follow fashion in clothes? Well, this is actually quite an open-ended question, I think. Well, firstly, there's always the debate of what is fashion. Is it simply just what people wear as is like a fashion? I think everyone here, even if they're unique as themselves, is in a way following a fashion of their own. Why do people follow fashion in clothes? I think it's the most obvious one will be trying to be popular. I think if like so and so like a very famous pop star wears this kind of clothes, then maybe you want to wear it because you want to attract attentions. You want to look like the pop star. You want to be famous. So, and might be because your friends wear it as well. So if you don't wear this like the same clothes as them, you might feel that you are left out. But I think I personally think that clothes gives you a it's like your identity. It's like what you wear gives other people a feeling of what you're like. So if you wear some dark clothes like I'm here wearing, so might give the people opinion that I'm quite formal in a way, or very mature in a way. But whereas people who wear like I'd say multicolored clothes, like very bright red or bright yellow clothes, people think that they're very happy. And I think that's different clothes again is a bit like art in a way. I think it gives other people the message of how you feel and what your emotion is towards different things.
Thank you. Is there anything you don't agree with, Elisa?
I mostly agree with everything. I just think people follow fashion to seem more up to date, to seem more modern. But also, I agree that some people wear specific clothing to express their identity. For example, goths. They express their own identity, wherever it may be. They're kind of on the dark side, but at least they're showing it, so you know whether. And then you can judge the people by the sort of their dressing style. It might help to realise, oh, they might be the people for me, or they might not really be my people. Personally, I wouldn't approach goths, so yeah. Apart from that, that's it.
Thank you. What are the advantages of uniforms? Both of you.
Who do you want to go first?
People can't show off that much. I think it brings everyone to a certain level. So there would be fewer. It helps to limit discrimination to a certain extent. In many ways, also rich and the poor, but also, for example, they've got the problem of the headscarf in France. And if the girls, say in England, will have to wear a uniform and no headscarf, that would, I think, limit the problems as well. I think it makes people more equal. What do you think?
I think like uniform is, I think the purpose of uniform is because we study in schools and having uniform is like stopping us from showing off in a way. It brings unique into our school. It makes us feel that we are equally. It expresses that it shows us that we are the same as others. So there's like no advantage or disadvantage of the other people. It's just like what she's saying about discrimination.
Thank you. Now, to finish the test, we're going to talk about taste in general. What makes our tastes change?
Well, I think age does. I think age is one of the most obvious one. Because when I was young, I used to like computer games a lot. But then now as I grow older, I found computer games not as exciting as it used to be. And now I started to enjoy reading. I enjoy reading newspaper and books. I've found reading is more interesting and more in depth.
And do our tastes automatically change as we get older?
I think as you gradually grow up and your inner world changes, so do your tastes. For example, when I was little, I liked Harry Potter. I think now I'd enjoy more serious books.
And some people say that cars reflect our personality. What do you think?
I think to a certain extent, yes. I think more kind of ambitious people prefer more expensive cars, faster cars. I think. I don't know. I think a family person would prefer to buy a minivan for the family. I think a car, to a certain extent, expresses a person's personality.
What do you think, Benjamin?
Well, I'm not very, educated around this area, but I feel, cars are used for transports. Well, for example, like a family, we usually have a larger car because they have more kids. Whereas, a successful businessman might have very expensive cars just to show off that he's powerful. So I think if you have more, as you're more powerful, you feel that you want a more expensive car to show that you are more powerful, really.
Thank you. That's the end of the test.